Oh, hella beard, it's your boy Big Beard B, and we back for another edition of Big Beard Business. For those of you who are new to the channel, I'm B, and on this channel we help improve your confidence by way of compliments using the wonderful world of fragrance. If this is your second video or more, we ask that you hit the subscribe button so you can come back to rock with your boy. It is that time of year again, and we are bringing you the official fragrance list for fall. All right, listen, I know some of you out there have your own list and you're going to be rocking what you rock, and hopefully some of the fragrances I talk about today make your list or spark your interest in them, to say the least. The fragrances that we're talking about today may not be the overall best fragrances out there, but these are fragrances that I am excited to wear this fall 2021. Listen here, man, these fragrances are fragrances I will be having in my rotation and I will be actively rocking because these fragrances are set to perform and get me, well, what I like, compliments this fall. Now, these fragrances will not be in order of 1 to 10. They will just be 10 fragrances I grabbed that I have in front of me, and I will speak about them in the order that I picked them up, and that is it. So, without any further ado, now that you know what we're doing, let's go ahead and get down to Big Beard Business. Now, the first fragrance I want to mention today, I think came out in 2018, and I have been really feeling the fragrance ever since its official release. The fragrance comes from the house of Paco Rabanne, and this fragrance is 1 Million Lucky. Now, 1 Million Lucky is not to be confused with the original 1 Million, which is still an OG, but this fragrance here just does something different. You can get little glimmers of the original DNA within this fragrance, but it does so much more, and it is so different than the original that it has to be within your collection, and it has to be worn specifically during the fall. This fragrance has everything it needs to get you, as the name suggests, lucky. You have this hazelnut and plum within this fragrance that makes this scent really stand out. If you're looking for a fragrance that's gonna compliments, get you lucky, and really have that nice sweet undertone within this fragrance, not as hyped up as the original, then this is a scent that I would urge you to try right now. Like, not now, but right now. All right, 1 Million Lucky. Now, as we hop into the second fragrance on this list, this is a fragrance that I have not mentioned in a long time, and I'm not sure why, but this fragrance is a staple within my collection. It has been for years, specifically because the compliment factor that comes along with this scent. Now, this fragrance comes from a clone house, so to speak, but this is one of their original creations from my understanding, and they just really knocked this fragrance out of the park. The fragrance comes from Alexandria Fragrances, and this one is Cacao Dreams. All right, this fragrance is sweet, it's vanilla, it's creamy, it's caramel, and it also is chocolatey, as the name suggests, with that cacao in it. This fragrance to me reminds me of like a Tootsie Roll. Cotton candy, sweet as gold, let me see a Tootsie Roll. Listen, an amazing scent. This fragrance has great performance, projects, jumped off of the skin, and the compliment factor is there for sure. Look at this thing here, man. Look at it. It's been used, as you can tell. This fragrance really gets its wear-ins, it gets put to the ringers, and it's a fragrance that I'm excited to bring back into the rotation. Listen, as you guys know, I moved up here from Florida. If you're new to the channel and you were only watching me when I've been in Tennessee, in Florida we didn't get the type of weather that we get here in Tennessee, and that's a fragrance that I'm looking forward to putting to the official test. All right, Cacao Dreams from Alexandria Fragrances. Next up, we have this seductive masculine scent that is charismatic. It has leather, but it's also fresh. The fragrance comes from Valentino, and this one is Valentino Uomo Intense. Now, Valentino has done a lot of things lately as they've been amping up their fragrance game, but this one here is still one of those fragrances that stand out, and it's a must-wear for the fall time. Valentino Uomo Intense is lavender, iris, you have tonka within this fragrance, vanilla. This is just an amazing combination, an elixir, so to speak, of just a phenomenal fragrance. I would love to see them redo something with this one here. Now, I think of the original DNA, they've done a ton with that, but I would like to see a flanker of this flanker from the House of Valentino. I'm not sure if you're listening, but if you are, let's bring that to life. The next fragrance we'll mention today takes a separate twist, and there are actually 3 fragrances with a variation of this name out. The fragrance comes from the house of Tom Ford, aka Tom 40 Ford, and this one is from the signature side of the house, and this one is Tom Ford Ombre Leather. Not to be confused with the latest version of this, which is that Parfum version, which I think is more suited for the winter, but right now we're talking about the fall, so this is the one we're going to mention. This fragrance is a scent that does a lot of things well, but it also can be layered. When you think of a lot of Tom Ford fragrances, specifically when you get into those private blend fragrances, they were made to be layered. At least that's what the people at Tom Ford tell me. All right, and this fragrance originally started as a private blend fragrance. It was discontinued or vaulted, so to speak, and then worked its way over to the signature side at a more affordable price point. With that being said, there's a lot within this fragrance that it has to offer. This fragrance obviously has that leather, it has raspberry within this fragrance, and it's also a fragrance that has this warm, spicy, unisex feel with a delicate balance between that warmth and spice, and also between floral notes and leathers and spice. So there you have it, Tom Ford Ombre Leather for that bad boy or mischievous woman out there. This is a scent that you can rock definitely this fall. Speaking of fragrances that you can rock this fall, this next one is a game changer to a point. This fragrance really did stand out to me when it was released, and it stands out to me now. The fragrance comes from Armani, and this one is Stronger With You. This one is the OG, and the OG is jam-packed with that cardamom within this fragrance, and it also has this underlying sweetness within this fragrance that really, really works. This fragrance is pink pepper, cardamom, this chestnut accord. This has this seductive, mysterious feel to it that really is good for compliments. The compliments come along with this scent for sure, and this fragrance is one that I have always since its initial release been known to recommend. I think that if you have a opportunity to get your nose on a scent, this is one of those that you could definitely do. And there's been a number of fragrances from this one to be birthed, but you never can go wrong with this original one here, Stronger With You from the house of Armani. Now we have half of the fragrances done, and we're about to approach the back half of this list. And this next fragrance was one that was almost a tie to me when it comes down to it. And I think this fragrance still can be used interchangeably. The fragrance that I want to talk about today comes from the house of Viktor and Rolf. And the fragrance that I'm mentioning is Viktor and Rolf Spice Bomb Infrared. Now what infrared does is takes that original DNA, mixes it up a bit, and adds its own twist. With infrared we see things essentially around heat. You have notes like habanero within the scent, and it provides a lot more spice than you get from the original. With that said, the DNA is still there of the original, which I think is what makes this fragrance great. Okay, and then you take this fragrance into that additional spicy territory, which does well, especially that you add the notes of tobacco within this scent. All in, I think this is a fragrance that has a lot to offer, although it's not talked about that much. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm looking to wear this fragrance more, because I've never come across anyone in the real world who they said, hey, I have this fragrance on, or I could detect this scent on them. So therefore I want to rock this more, put this out to its final paces, and see what this fragrance actually can deliver in a daily wear of this scent, because the original is an amazing scent. You have the extreme is an amazing scent. Oh Fresh to me is still a great scent, and then they've been recently releasing more and more when it comes down to Night Vision Eau de Parfum. We have infrared, and we'll likely see a infrared parfum if I had to guess. All right, so there you have it, Spice Bomb Infrared from Viktor and Rolf. The next fragrance on our list today is no stranger to the channel, and it's not a stranger because it works, right? This fragrance gets talked about a lot because it does a lot. It does a lot in terms of compliment factor. It does a lot from compliment factor. It does a lot from compliment factor. That's really what this fragrance gets. This fragrance is technically a fragrance for men, but this one to me is a unisex scent. The fragrance comes from the house of Maison or Maison Margiela, and the fragrance is Jazz Club. All right, so Jazz Club is, like I mentioned, a fragrance that could be worn unisex, but the bottle just strictly states this one is for males. All right, but I think women can wear this fragrance as well. In fact, I know some women that rock this scent. All in, this fragrance does a lot of things well. It has this sweet feel to it. It has this heady cocktail feeling is how this fragrance is described, but it also provides some rum in a scent. This one also has some spice, and it just does so many things well, and those notes combine together so well that it's really different than a lot of things that are in the market today that still have that woody, amber, spicy feel. It's done, but just not done in the way that this one is. Now, when you think of the Maison Margiela or Maison Margiela fragrances, and when they are released, specifically in this replica series, they're made to replicate or to modeled behind a specific point in time or being at a specific place. And this one is to be at a jazz club in Brooklyn in 2013. Was I in a jazz club in Brooklyn in 2013? The answer is no. But I can tell you that I would go into a jazz club smelling like this. This one has this smooth feel to it. It has an elegance to it as well that I think is just phenomenal. So a fragrance that I often recommend, I often wear, and a lot of you out there do as well, Jazz Club from Maison Margiela. Now we go into this next scent. It's one that is a newer scent. I think this one was released in 2020, maybe late 2019. Well, let's call it 2020. All right. The fragrance is from JPG or Jean Paul Gaultier, and this one is a remake, in a way, of a fragrance that they offer. Now, this one is based on the legendary fragrance that they offer, Le Male or Le Male, however you want to say it. This fragrance is Jean Paul Gaultier Le Male Le Parfum. All right, so this fragrance is the end-all be-all as it comes down to their fragrances. It should be, but it's not. All right, this fragrance to me is not so much like the original, but more so a more refined version of Ultramar. And Ultramar was that clubbing fragrance that got the job done, compliment factors galore. I remember first smelling that fragrance like it was yesterday. I was in a Macy's downstairs. It was closer to this time of year. It was around Halloween. I think we were getting closer to Halloween. I wasn't feeling very well after smelling that scent, but actually I think we went into a Halloween store before, right after smelling the fragrance, went to a Halloween store. But nonetheless, all that stuff aside, what I recall about Le Male at that point was I knew that there was something special about that scent. It was something that was going to have that fragrance be around forever and ever, and I went back to get it. And this fragrance is one of those fragrances I feel brings on that same life. All right, if you enjoyed that fragrance, you're going to love this one because you're like a little bit older now. You like to do things a little bit differently, and this fragrance is one of those scents that I think you would transition to. It takes some of that juvenile feel of the original Ultramar. It makes it more masculine. It livens it up a bit, and now you have this thing here. This one is classy, it's sexy, sophisticated, while still being sensual and garners compliments galore. Le Male Le Parfum from Jean Paul Gaultier. We're down to our final two fragrances, and this next one here is earthy. This one is seductive, it's masculine, it's fresh, it's aromatic, and this one is the best in the lineup if you ask me, but we'll see what they have to say for themselves. Since Dior released Sauvage Elixir, we'll likely see something coming from this house as well. And this fragrance I'm referencing comes from Chanel. This one is Bleu de Chanel Parfum, the Parfum version, not the EDT, not the EDP, the Parfum. This is my favorite out of the three. All right, and like I said, since Sauvage Elixir is out, we'll likely see a response from then if time repeats itself. All right, for me, this is a fragrance that is good for almost any situation, and it works better in that cooler weather versus the EDT, which I think is going to be better for that spring and or summer vibe. This fragrance can be worn in the office, so feel free to wear this one to the office, dress this thing up, and dress it down if you'd like. I could see you really wearing this fragrance with a cashmere light sweater, something like that, something that's going to, just give you a little bit more warmth during some of those chillier days. This is a scent that is going to work for you. A classic scent and classy, and not much goes into it. You don't have to think much about wearing this fragrance. You want to smell good? Wear it. That's it. Nothing else to think about. You want to smell good? Wear it. That is all. All right, so that's it on that one. Bleu de Chanel Parfum. I don't have much more to say about that. That brings us into our final fragrance today, which is from Azzaro. And I'm looking forward to wearing this fragrance. A lot of you already know what this one is. This one is Azzaro's The Most Wanted. This is the most wanted fragrance for compliments right now from the house of Azzaro, in my personal opinion. Be this one Azzaro, Wanted by Night, etc. But this thing is a standout for sure. They set the tone with this fragrance, right? They set it up in this black bottle, right, to be mysterious, to be bold, to be sensual, because it is. And it just has a lot going well for this scent. It has this subtle sweetness to it, this warmth, and it's still inviting. It has the compliment factor there. Everything that you need within a scent, this fragrance does deliver. Because this video is getting lengthy, I won't go in great detail about this fragrance because I have talked about it on a variety of occasions, and I do have a full review on this scent if you care to check it out. So those are 10 designer fragrances that I'm excited to wear this fall, and I will wear them like my life depends on it, because it does. It doesn't. It doesn't. No. Listen, man, that's all I have for you guys and girls today. Hopefully you enjoyed this list. I would love to know what fragrances that you look forward to wearing in the designer world soon. I will be bringing you the official niche list. That one is being recorded very soon and being brought to you. The video will likely be recorded by the time you even see this video and loaded and ready to go. That's all I have for you guys and girls today. As always, I'm your boy, Big Beard Beater. Hit the like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend, and we are back again. And you already know what I need you to do. Just hit the goddamn bell.